Hello everybody, this is Christoph talking. Today I have as an interview guest in my room Vojta, and we're going to do a kind of talking stick interview. And first I'd like Vojta to introduce himself a bit about his background. And yes, I hand now the microphone over to Vojta.
Hello, and my name is Vojta, and I'm bodyworker and somatic sexologist. When it comes to my background, that's in a way a little bit difficult to say, because for the past 20 years I have been doing lots of different things, and I went through lots of different traditions of bodywork and different schools. And what I'm really interested at now is to find a way how to really integrate all those approaches in the one space, which can be really clear to understand and easy to do. And right now I feel that the best approach to that is the somatic sexology, which can really easily connect all the different types of bodywork, which means to bring the alternative bodywork techniques that I like to use, mainly shiatsu or Hawaiian bodywork, a bit of Thai massage or Indian massage, which could be really like the main foundation for the bodywork, and then different techniques from tantric tradition, shamanistic tradition, Taoism, BDSM, and things like that.
Okay, could you tell a bit more about the background or history of sexological bodywork? Or how did you call it?
Yeah, it's a sexological bodywork. The history, it's sexological bodywork. It's old about 10 years, and it has been developed by Joseph Kramer in California. What he's saying that the reason why he started with sexological bodywork is to find a really safe way how to give erotic and transformative and healing experience to others. And that time it was because there has been lots of activities happening in the sexuality, and the HIV got spread a lot, and then he developed techniques which are really safe, where you work with gloves and you have really safe space which can serve for healing and pleasure and transformation.
And as I get it, at the center of sexological bodywork is freeing up the sexual energy of the person to get him back into his sexual flow. So how could you tell us maybe about how a session in this kind of treatment would go, or it could go?
Yeah, no, that really depends on what is the intention of the receiver, what the person wants to work with. But the really kind of core of this work, it would be most probably vaginal or anal mapping, which is technique which serves to connect us on very deep level with our suppressed emotions, pains, traumas, and bring our awareness into those layers of consciousness in order to release it and heal it and transform it. And the sexological bodywork, it wouldn't be only the technique, it's really a lot about communication, which creates safe space and open up the mind for different possibilities, how we can relate to people, the partners, and to ourselves. A big part of it is also orgasmic yoga, which is changing our patterns about masturbation, and it deals a lot with mindful masturbation. But of course there is much more topics in that included.
So you also talked about anal and vaginal mapping, and also about increasing the awareness if you could go into more detail about what people can imagine under anal and vaginal mapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this work is sometimes also called vaginal or anal shiatsu. So the technique, it would be a bit similar. So it uses different kind of pressure, and it serves to connect the receiver with the area which usually has quite low sensitivity. Most of us, due to suppressed emotion, suppressed sexuality, we lost the sensitivity. And when we spent 1 hour, 90 minutes under really deep focus and pressure in that area and kind of unfolding, opening, and we really learn to tune into it, to feel it again. We learn to regulate the intensity of the pain. It's for many people it's very painful and unpleasant experience, but we learn that we can regulate it, that it's really something that we can change. We can always decide how intense the experience will be, and this does really a lot for our mind, for our body, for the nervous system, and already the communication which is happening during the treatment can be really healing experience. So it's definitely nothing like that where the body worker would do his stuff and just the receiver just receive whatever is happening. It's really the receiver who is in charge and who is guiding how the touch should be, what kind of quality of touch should be.
So now we talked a bit about communication during the treatment, but that it also includes pain. But now if you could tell us some of the benefits, because no one likes to just receive pain without any benefits.
Yeah, the thing is that not always it's lots of pain for people. The very common experience is that on the beginning, when you get the connection with the pelvic floor and you feel all those layers of tissue, very often there is no pain. It's lots of numbness. And we have to do the treatment regularly. And then when you do second time, third time, then you see that actually the pain is unfolding. And then you need to go very gently and softly through this process. And then after a few treatments, again, you see that all the spots which has been first numb and then painful actually starts to feel pleasure. And this is where we want to go, that we want to really increase the sensitivity of the genitals, that we can feel much more pleasure during the lovemaking or intercourse. And this is probably the most important part of it. But of course it has a lot to do with how our sexual energy flows in the body, how the nervous system is affecting the brain. So it's when we release all the tension from the pelvic floor, we get much more relaxed in our mind as well. And there are of course different benefits, but that really again depends from which perspective you look at the treatment.
Okay, this sounds interesting, and as I get it, and maybe that's also a topic for some people, this whole body orgasm or whatever. Could you say something about this?
Yeah, when it comes to full body orgasm, that of course this type of work, when you do pelvic floor release, is very important, but always it has to come with kind of full body acupressure, where you are releasing the emotional tension in specific areas, specific muscles, areas where we hold suppressed emotions. And when this has been released, also it's needed minimum 5 to 10 sessions to get the real benefits. But even if you do it twice, 3 times, you already feel it. Those techniques are very powerful. And then what is happening, that the sexual energy, when you approach it in the right way, starts to find a way through the body easily, and then it can easily kind of penetrate all the tissue, and we can start to feel that the orgasm is not happening only in the genitals, but it can happen in any part of the body, or we can have even the full body orgasm. Sometimes people use those techniques to open the Kundalini energy, which I believe that it's just different name for sexual energy being in the full potential. So this would be probably really the highest aim that we can achieve.
Okay, this sounds like some nice benefits. And you also mentioned to me something about ecstatic birth that could happen from this kind of work. If you could tell something about this, because as we know it nowadays in our culture, birth is often a painful, traumatic experience for many people. And yes, maybe you could tell something about this.
Yeah, this kind of work can be used in big success for women if they are expecting the birth. And of course it has to be done in a certain way so it doesn't harm. But before the woman gives the birth and we are able to release the tensions and pains which are in the vagina, then the birth is completely different experience. Often it's just the fear of the birth, fear of this is going to hurt, which creates the contraction and the birth become very traumatic. When the woman can already feel that the pelvic floor is much more relaxed, much more open, it's warm and pleasant, then she has much more trust that the birth will be different experience. And from the experience, it's the feeling, the sensation that women get when they give birth is the kind of pain that it is pain, but it feels like that they want more of it. It's really pain which gives lots of pleasure, and it's something that they all find really beautiful. I have to mention that also this type of work is very important for women who haven't been prepared for this kind of birth, and they didn't have pleasant experience, and often it happens that they are not much interested in the sex anymore after giving birth, and they focus much more on the child and on the partner and sex. So then when they go through the process of releasing the traumatic experience, the pain, then they again can much easier reconnect to the partner.
Okay, how can a release look like? Like, yes, what's happening during a release?
Oh, I guess this is different from person to person. For some people, it would be really just the fact that you feel the emotions or sensations during the treatment. Very often it's like that we don't really feel much in our pelvic floor, and then suddenly, due to the pressure that is created there, we start to feel different sensations which are usually not very pleasant. Sometimes it is, of course, it depends. But the fact that we feel it, that means that we already in a way perceive those emotions, those energies, and it's a very strong way how to release them, how to transform them into different energy which feels better for us. But of course often it happens that there is the emotional release looks like that there is lots of crying, lots of anger, sadness, different kind of emotions.
Okay. What you also mentioned as one of your influences is BDSM. If you could tell more about this, maybe where it's coming from, how you, or in what circumstances you use it, and why you like to use it.
You know, I must say that when it comes to BDSM, this is really a huge topic, and I'm not sure if I would be the right person to talk about the history of BDSM or what it actually is, because I have a very personal approach to it, and of course I have been inspired by what other people are doing, but my journey to BDSM was very personal. And especially on the beginning, it had a really purely therapeutic approach. And it was because when I discovered how transformative our body is the connection of pain and pleasure which is happening in the safe space. And I have noticed such a very fast and very deep transformations with my clients that I really believe that in my experience this is the most powerful technique that I know, and it's something really beyond what I can understand and I can really talk about. So it's a really huge topic which I have lots of respect for, and not sure if I can really give some answer of what is there happening. Of course, to some degree we can talk about what are the benefits, what is it about, but it's very difficult to say.
So what are actual benefits for people who use BDSM in a therapeutic way? And could you also tell something about the wheel of consent that I know is also a big part of BDSM?
Yeah, no, first I must say that when I mentioned the therapeutic BDSM, that was about my experience, and of course there is lots of different approaches to it, and for many people it has not any therapeutic intention, and of course my attitude to it also it's changing by the time. But still I'm really interested on the combination of bodywork and BDSM. And the main benefits that I find here is that we are really entering something which for most of the people it's a taboo. It's something negative, often something perverted, dark, something we should be afraid, and just the idea of pain is scaring many people. And I find this very powerful when we can enter this kind of dark, dangerous area and realize that it's completely safe, that we have really the ability to regulate our experience. And this is a big thing for most of the people, especially those who experience lots of pain in their life, lots of abuse, where they can regulate their intensity, regulate the intensity of pain, and in a way they can regulate the personality. And regulation of personality, I believe it's one of the deepest benefits you can find here, because there we can learn how to approach life in a completely different way, that we don't need to be the kind of people who are running away from our pain, from our shadows, from our emotions, and just focusing on something positive, which is often actually not here, and we cannot feel it because we are protecting ourselves from the pain. And I think in a way this would be really for me the essence of this work, where we are able to be in the space where we embrace everything in our body, all the sensations, all the emotions, all the memories past, and being comfortable with that. And there I find BDSM in combination with bodywork or tantric approach, sexological bodywork, a really powerful tool which can be basically applied on every situation. But this is really a huge topic that we can talk about for days. You mentioned the wheel of consent, which is a concept by Betty Martin. Also, she's a sexological bodyworker, and it's really amazing structure on the dynamics which are in the relationship. I also don't think that I would be able to describe well what the wheel of consent is, but it's a lot about being able to experience the dynamics of giving, receiving, taking and allowing with the consent, because this is something which is often happening in the relationship without consent and without permission, and then we go into shadows qualities. But when we have clear communication and permission from person that we can do certain things that normally wouldn't feel nice, and we get the permission for it, then we are able to enter the space of transformation. And suddenly we see that this is a tool which can change our life in a really profound way.
Okay. So maybe you can give some example of this giving and taking, which also helped me as a therapist a lot, and also tell us something more about these shadow qualities, so maybe some people can recognize them inside of themselves.
Yeah, now here maybe the easiest example that I can give you to understand what is that about is that often we don't really have clear communication about what we actually want from the other person. And this brings, of course, certain kind of confusion to our body, to our mind. The good example is that, for example, if I feel that I need hug someone, often it's not that I go to someone and ask, please, would you give me a hug? But instead I come with the offer and I say, can I give you a hug? And then the person say, yeah, sure, and expecting that the hug is actually for the person, but it's for me. And so I'm offering something, but actually I'm taking. And you can imagine how this is working in the relationship, in the sexuality, yeah, where we want to do something for the partner, but actually we do it for us. And here it's very important to be able to take, but to be clear that the taking is taking and the other person is happy with that. That he can be in clear allowing and allow us to take, and we can enjoy the taking without feeling guilt or shame or feeling that we do something strange. And when it comes to bodywork, this is especially tantric massage, this is really important because very often the body workers, they are offering massage, which should be for the person, should be for the receiver, but when we would really and truly look on how the session is going, then we would see that it's actually for the body worker, that he is doing it for his own benefit, his own pleasure, and instead of giving, he is taking. And of course, the body in a way can recognize this, and the person might not really appreciate this kind of attitude. So that's why it's so important to be really clear where we are in giving or taking.
And that's how we already enter the possible shadow aspects, when we are not sure how to give or take properly.
Yeah, of course, because when this is happening in the relationship, then it can go to different kind of extremes when the partners end up with one being victim and another being kind of abuser. And when people stay in the shadow, it's just usually getting worse. And there would be nothing wrong about that if people in a way enjoy this dynamic and they do it with consent, and they find a way how to transform those behaving. And often it happens that just when you get the consent, when you get the permission for certain kind of behaving that normally we would consider maybe abusive, then suddenly this is what's happening often in the BDSM, that the serious topics become fun, it becomes something playful, something creative, and it becomes source of our personal power. And for me, from my perspective, this is one of the most beautiful things that we can experience in the relationship, where we see our history, where we come from, what is happening around us. And there are really strong memories on collective level how women have been treated here, and often they are in the position of a victim, and men are those who abuse here. And those people who are really willing to play with those imprints, with those memories, and being a bit creative about that, they can really experience amazing freedom, and they are not victims anymore, or men feeling being abusing. So this is really one of the greatest benefits of it. But as I said, the permission, the consent is really the core, is the most important.
This is nice what you say, because to me it also sounds a bit like theater. Like you really go into a role, and you go consciously into a role, and you play it, and you change your consciousness through enacting another role and thus freeing yourself up, becoming more fluid. And so could you also go into some detail about how BDSM could help you transform pain into pleasure, which also seems to be a big topic for many people, how this could even be possible?
Yeah, no, this is of course a really important topic in this kind of body work. When it comes to pain, then from my experience it's like that most of the people have strong resistance towards the pain. Yeah, we kind of tend to feel the pleasure, we want to feel good, we want to feel happy, and we are running away from the pain. And there is, of course, many different perspectives how to look at it, but I would like to look at it from the perspective of body and the memories and the nervous system. So let's say if there is a person who had lots of abuse in the life, lots of memories of pain, and the body is storing this pain, then this memory is connected to different kind of emotions, and usually the emotions, of course, are very negative. And this kind of person will be running away from the pain because doesn't want to have more of it. And if there is more resistance towards to it, then even the pains being stored in the body become stronger and stronger. And sometimes it's really hard to find a way how to transform it. And here how the BDSM can serve the transformation. So the core of it, the base, what is the most important, is to create the safe space. When the person can really decide about everything what is happening, about the experience, how the pain he would receive in the session would be intense, and he can regulate how, if he want a little bit pain, a little bit more, if he want to stop it. Even this is for the nervous system huge thing. So this is something where the people already starts to benefit a lot. And another important part is that when they receive certain sensations which might be painful, they realize that actually on the beginning, when you start to introduce some pain to the body, it's actually not pain, it just feels nice. It's really pleasant sensations. And only when the intensity increases, then for the nervous system it starts to become not bearable. And then of course the person needs to give some signal to slow down or go down a little bit with the intensity. And then it should always have some nice touch, some caressing touch, some touch which gives pleasant feeling, comforting. And for the nervous system, this is really big wow. Yeah, this is something so new. Yeah, I'm feeling pain, but also it feels nice. This is really awakening, really refreshing. It's amazing. And the brain becomes so excited about it that it's really very quickly willing to drop lots of memories about how the pain has been experienced in the past. And we are bringing new and very positive imprints which will stay permanently imprinted in our brain, in our cells, in our nervous system. And when this kind of treatment is being repeated, already the person has very different reactions to it. They can increase the level of intensity of pain and have much more pleasure out of it. And it's scientifically proven that these techniques can serve you to get into really high states of consciousness, and even you can experience much deeper quality of relationships. So there is really a huge amount of benefits that you can have out of it. But at the end, it's really all about the relationship to pain. When we start to understand and feel in our body that the pain is actually nice, and it's nothing that we need to be afraid of, then we really can easily drop all those negative memories and imprints and start to enjoy the pain. And then it gets kind of manifested in the daily life, that the pain that we experiencing, it's not so painful anymore, and naturally we start to have much more pleasure in our body. So this is really one of the most important aspects of it, how we can regulate the nervous system and go more into the layers of nervous system which are relaxed and pleasant.
So that's really nice to have this new perspective on it, how you can regulate your own nervous system through introducing some nice touch to this pain, and it's not just for some playing around, but it can really increase the experience in your life. You're increasing your comfort zone and everything. And now let's switch back to this topic of sexological bodywork and what people with what kind of, let's call it dysfunctions, can get out of it.
Yeah, no, this is really a good question. I would start with women, because from our experience, when it comes to sexual dysfunction, then most of the time, the most common dysfunction would be the lack of ability to experience the orgasm. And then again, this is a huge topic that we would need lots of time to cover it, but very often it's again about being disconnected, disconnection to the genitals due to suppressed emotions, suppressed sexuality. So when the woman is not really able to feel deep pleasure during the intercourse, then the ability to have orgasm can be really limited. But we had lots of cases of women who can have orgasm, but only that they can reach it by masturbation, only when they do it alone. And again, it can be very individual, but often we find out that this is happening when they have certain kind of negative experience with men, and then when we look at the person more from the perspective of body, then part of our approach is to work with the primal brain, which is the place which stores lots of those emotions and traumas. And the humans, they are a little bit special because we can keep the trauma active in the body for many years. And then if there is a woman who had some bad or violent experience with men, and then she has sex with the man, then the brain is alert. It doesn't go into relaxation, but it goes into fight or flight, and that's not state which is really suitable to achieve the orgasm. And then of course we would have to go back to the practices that we are doing most, which would be the vaginal de-armoring or mapping. But also it's important to really find a little bit about the history of the person and find a way how to approach the past in some creative way which would help to release those experiences. When it comes to men, then the main sexual dysfunction is premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction. And then when we look at it a little bit from the tantric perspective, you often can hear the approach that for men is really good not to ejaculate. There is of course lots of different opinions on it, but generally I would agree that this kind of practice it's very good for the body. It's again scientifically proven that when men stay away from ejaculation for longer period of time, at least few weeks, then the body can get really fully charged with all those brain chemicals that we need, like oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, and we can be much more comfortable in our body. And the reason why is it important also for men to kind of let go the habit of ejaculation is that any time the ejaculation happens, the prostate creates certain kind of tension which stays in the body. And if this is happening long time and with strong intensities, then of course the function of the prostate is not as good as it should be, and then we can experience things like erectile dysfunction. Premature ejaculation, it can be also a little bit different topic, but again it's very individual. It's very difficult to talk about it in generally, but generally when we have lots of emotions stored in the body, the sexual energy cannot really flow freely choose the body, and find the way where it needs to go. And due to this deeply rooted stress that we have in the pelvic floor, there is many men who can have sex even just 1 minute, because the container for the sexual energy is very tight, very small, and then the body goes very quickly into high excitement, and when they are not able to deal with it, then the ejaculation can happen after a very short time. Generally, they say that most of the men can have sex only 11 minutes, which is very short time for women to have sex which can be satisfying. And again, the way how to deal with it is to go inside, go into anal mapping and release this deeply rooted stress which is blocking the flow of sexual energy. And that's very effective solution. We have experienced that even people after one treatment have huge changes, and they are able to deal with it in a much easier way. And even when it comes to impotence, after 5 treatments, it's possible to restore the functions.
Okay, this sounds like a pretty good therapy for many people. And when you say, as I get it, the pelvic floor is kind of the basic container of the sexual energy, but then you want to try to open up this container, but then you also try to open up other certain points in the body. And what we also did what you taught us in a workshop we did together was how to treat the psoas muscle. If you could go into some description of what the psoas does and where he is and why he is important.
And the psoas muscle, it's one of the most important muscles to approach when it comes to sexological bodywork. Sometimes it's called muscle of the soul, and the reason it's because it's very much connected to our primal brain. It's very much connected to fight and flight system, and very much connected to our sexuality. And basically, anytime we go into emotional reaction or fight or flight reaction, the reaction is being stored in this muscle. And it's a muscle which is extremely painful. When you touch it, everybody has really huge amount of pain. And if the pain is being stored there, of course it's affecting our brain. The reaction goes back to the brain and we feel very tensed and things are not working well. Also, this muscle has effect on the sexual energy when we want to bring it up to the body to experience full body orgasms, and the muscle is stored, is full of suppressed emotions, then it's not working really well. And that's why we need to focus on this muscle and doing like kind of hard acupressure to release it. Then we can have very quickly very effective results and benefits. Sometimes it's possible that even after 1 or 2 sessions, people can have some experience of full body orgasm and really deep sense of relaxation and release.
Okay, so far about the therapeutic approach. And can you tell us how to find good practitioners of this work?
Well, I guess this really depends on which country you are. And if you are looking for sexological body workers, then probably I would go to the website of sexological body workers in US, where should be a register of all those body workers, and that's one way. Of course, another is to just use Google to find which body worker is in your area, or usually they kind of know each other, so they can give the recommendation.
Okay. Yeah, I'll also put something in the show notes about the website you can go to. But for the people who live in an area that has not many practitioners and they can't afford to travel to a practitioner, what can they do themselves?
Yeah, no, this is something I find personally really important, and this is one of the main reasons why I want to do workshops and spread this kind of work, because for me it's really great if people come to us as a couples and they learn those techniques, how to help each other to have a better relationship, how to have a life which is more fulfilling, more nourishing. Then of course the best way to learn the technique is to go to the workshop, and then you really get the authentic experience of the work, and then you continue with that at home. Another possibility is that you can travel to some area where it's the sexological bodyworker working, and he can teach you the technique. You can also go there alone. Usually they would be able to explain the technique on some synthetic model of vagina or penis or something like that, and then you can go back to the partner and you can already perform the techniques. It's not something really difficult that you need to study a long time when it comes to the manual part of it. What may take some time is really to get the ability to stay connected and go deeper. But when you keep the kind of basic steps, you already have lots of benefits out of it.
But so you say it's something that should be taught from person to person. It's not really good to get a book in your hands and... Okay, so now could you please tell us what people can do for themselves as a first step to work with this whole energy and this whole topic?
Yeah, then of course it's very important that they get some information what they need to do, and they learn some steps what can be beneficial for them, and what is their intention. So it's again very individual, but when it comes to the pelvic floor release, there are techniques that people can do on themselves, and it can be basically anything which brings the attention to the vaginal or anal area with some kind of mindfulness. And it can be reconnected to something we call orgasmic yoga, which is mindful masturbation, and it's a way how to bring the tools of breath, sound and movement into finding for different ways how to masturbate, how to change the sexual habits. When people use those tools, it's very effective in the process of embodiment, where our attention can go deeper into our body, and then it does the healing, then it does the transformation. And of course there are many different approaches to it. I would really recommend for everybody to do regular practice of anal massage. You can do it with gloves or without gloves, that's up to you. And really, even if you don't have some exact knowledge about the technique, really just try to explore that area, to reconnect with it, and find a way how to feel what is there and direct the attention towards the sensations of pleasure and comfort. And that's something that everyone can do, and of course if you start to see the benefits and the results, then you might want to go to some place where you learn more.
Okay, thank you. That's a nice first step everybody can, and in my opinion should do. And maybe now as an ending for the interview, if you could tell us something about your future projects.
Yeah, no, this is really big topic for me as well, because I have always lots of projects in my mind. Not always it's easy to create them, but I really like the idea of spreading the centers for bodywork, for tantric massage. So I like to open the new centers. So I have few in Norway. Now I'm opening some in Czech Republic. Want to open studio in Berlin and London. So that's one part of my project. Another is that I want to create a kind of online school where people can learn through the videos, because not everybody wants to come to the workshop and learn with people. So this would be also something that many people can benefit from. And yeah, that's something that I really feel that is a strong need to get some inspiration about different kind of approach to the body, what we can do.
Okay, Vojta, so now if some people are interested more in your work, if you could tell them an easy way how to get in touch with you?
Right now the best would be to go to my Norwegian website, and that would be tantramassage.no, and there you get the contact to reach me.
Okay, so I want to thank you big time for taking your time and sharing your knowledge here with us, but also sharing this really powerful work with us in the physical world. And thank you.
You're welcome.